All right, guys, let's continue. Now that we have managed to have the light and dark mode, it's time for us to configure our colors. For now, we are going to start with the colors and we are going to add the radius and the spacing later. Okay. So what we want to do now, we want to come here. Okay, these are all our colors, okay, as you can see. So let's just make sure that this there are some commas here after this, all of them. Okay, make sure, as you can see here, there is no comma. Okay, here there is no comma, and here there is no comma, and here there is no comma. Okay, so let's just copy this. Okay, let's just copy this. Okay, copy this, and let's go back to our tailwind. Okay, so we're going to go back to our tailwind, and on tailwind we're going to go back to tailwind config. As you can see, don't mind much about this error. Okay, on our tailwind, as you can see, we've got themes, we've got extend, we've got colors. Okay, we've got app test here. This is something that I did for testing. Okay, this is not necessary. Okay, so what we are going to do, it's like we are going to create our own colors. Okay, let me just paste here. Okay, obviously there might be some minor issues because of this comma and other things. Let's see what might be the problem of this. This works well. Oh, okay, I can see. Let's change this into this. Okay, and let me change this into this, change this into this, change this into this, and then do we have some commas? Okay, even this one, change this into this. Okay, and then we are done. So we only have the error that we had before. Okay, don't mind much about that. And then everything has been set. Okay, so what we want to do first, we want to configure the background. Okay, the entire app background. Let's just quickly go to Figma. Okay, here, as you can see, we've got the color that will be for the entire app background. Okay, it's either going to be white or it's going to be this black. Let's first do that. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to go to our application. Okay, we've got wall light try, and then we've got wall light secondary, and we've got the corresponding dark version of that. Okay, cool. Now, since we know that the layout has got everything passes through it, so let's go to our layout, which is the root layout. Let's say here in the root layout, where in the root layout, in the body. Okay, in fact, not necessarily in the body. Let's just wrap everything inside the body here. Okay, div. Okay, let's put this inside here. So that means now we've got a div that wraps everything. Okay, let's give this a class name of bg red, let's say. Okay, so as you will see that we are supposed to have a red background somewhere here. As you can see, obviously it's not filling the entire page, but it's here. Every route in this page, including the dashboard, I hope it's still there, will adhere to this background, as you can see. So that's the use of a layout. Okay, so meaning that if we can go to the layout, okay, and what we are going to do, we don't really need this. In fact, let me leave this red for now, just to make sure that everything works well. We want the height of this to be screen, meaning that it must always be 100% width and height. Okay, so let's also make the width to be screen. Okay, so I'm trying to say it must be the height of the screen. Okay, as you can see. So now we can remove this even here. Okay, even though it doesn't change now because this is some sort of a default red, or it's just red, we will deal with that later. But what I want to establish here is that we've got a place where we can change the entire background, okay, for the entire application, so that we don't have to change the background in many places. Okay, cool. Now let's test our colors. Okay, just testing the colors if they are working. Now, instead of using BG red, I'm going to use our, let's say, BG dark, okay, our dark background. So this is going to be BG wall. As you can see now, we've got our wall. We want our wall dark primary, as you can see, wall dark primary. So let's go back and test to see everything works well. Okay, as you can see, guys, this is the dark that we want. Okay, I don't think I need this. Okay, this is the dark that we want. I'm happy with this, but obviously it won't change. Okay, with light or dark, it's not going to change, as you can see. Okay, so we are working on that. So what we want to do, we want this color to be like this on dark. Okay, now I'm doing it the traditional way to show you the pain of always using light and dark. Okay, it's quite a mission. Okay, so I'm going to say this must be like this only on dark. Okay, so let's go back. Maybe I might split my screens, okay, to make my life easier. Okay, as you can see, now this background is white. It will only be like this on dark, as you can see. Okay, so let's say for some reason we want also to style the button to some sort of change from light to dark accordingly. Okay, let's go back to our Figma. Okay, as you can see, this is the button. Okay, and then the button doesn't really change from light to dark. Okay, it doesn't really change, so it's not going to show us exactly what I want to show. Okay, so what can I use? What can I use instead? Let's use this card background. Okay, you see this card background, it's like this here and it's like this here. So let's say we were creating it. Okay, so I'm just going to go back here. Okay, my apologies about this setup. If I can be honest with you, I am used to a code that is on the left rather. Okay, my apologies about that. Okay, I'm used to a code that is on the left rather than the right. Okay, so let's say we are creating this component. We are just going to only create the background. Okay, so let's go to here first. Okay, so what I want to do now, let's go to the main page. Okay, we can remove this. As you can see, we're in the main page. So in the main page, I want to create a div. Okay, a div. This div will have a span. Okay, which is let's say primary text. Okay, primary text. Obviously, I don't think we are going to see it here. Okay, here is it. Okay, we can see it. Here's the primary text. And then what we want the class name. Okay, for now, just for us to see it, let's use even this background. As you can see, here is it. Okay, so we want the width of let's say the width of 200 pixel and the height of 200 pixel. In fact, if that is the case, on Tailwind we can just use the size, okay, of 200 pixel, which stands for width and height. My apologies about this. This is just a mistake. 2 pixel. Okay, 0 pixel. Let's see. As you can see, guys, okay, I'm just going to expand it just for the sake of this being a little bit big. Okay, okay, I'm happy with this, as you can see. And then the other thing that I'm going to do for now, just for the sake of testing, Okay, I'm going to use a margin, let's say of 12. Okay, margin of 12. I want this to move away from this so that the background could be always like this. Okay. Um, it looks like there is a color somewhere there that I don't understand, but I will deal with it later. It looks like there is some sort of a color here, which is somewhat different. I will deal with that later. Okay. So as you can see, guys, so what we want to do, we want this background, okay, this background not to be like this. We want this background to be, I think it's our our wall secondary, BG, okay, on dark first, okay. This is the pain that we are going to avoid with that technique. We want this on dark to be BG, wall, wall, I think this is wall secondary. Let's see. This is not wall light. We're looking for wall dark secondary. Okay, on light. As you can see, on dark mode, it's going to be wall dark secondary. As you can see, I'm happy with this. So let's go back and switch the theme. Okay, as you can see, it's white on like normal plain white. Still, we don't want that. On white, which is a default, we want BG wall wall light secondary also. Okay, as you can see now, I think we are getting there in terms of light and dark theme. This is what we want. Okay, as you can see, guys, this is exactly what we want. In terms of the text, it looks like the text changes automatically for now, so we don't really have to care much about it. So the only thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some padding, padding of 8 here, so that this text can move here. So as you can see, guys, if we continue with this approach, okay, it will mean that whenever we want to change colors, we need to first know that we want to do this on white background, and on dark we want to do this. Okay, so wherever we go, our JSX element will contain light and dark, light and dark, light and dark. Okay, so the inverted theme principle that I have created will help us with this. So how is it going to help us? Okay, so what we are going to do, let's start with the background first, which is, let's go to our layout. As you can see, this is what is going on in the layout. Okay, let me take away this. So meaning that now the background is not, it won't respond to the light and dark in a way. Okay, let's see, was that dark on the layout? Oh, now I see. Remember, we had a color that I told you that I really don't understand. This is, I think this is Shatsi, and by default, what can I say, having this color, this some sort of blue or navy, okay, or dark navy color, that's not much of a problem. Okay, that means we will need to override that. Okay, how are we going to do that? Let's say we put a BG of green here on dark. Okay, let's see. I just want to see on dark, we put a BG of green. Okay, let's see what will happen. Okay, as you can see, this BG of green works to a certain degree. Okay, so I think this margin around this component, it's starting to affect us. Okay, so let's solve that. Okay, my apologies about that. Let's solve that. Let's just remove the margin on that component, on page component. There was a margin of 12 somewhere here. Let's remove it and see if is this the factor. Okay, so as you can see, without that margin, everything works well. I'm happy with this. Okay, so now what we want to make sure that the layout, okay, the layout responds according to the light and dark theme. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's go back to our Tailwind. In fact, our global CSS. Okay, now we are creating our own way of switching colors. So we want to be on global CSS. Apologies about that. So as you can see here, you can create your own classes, okay, which is cool. So what we want to do here, we want a class which is going to be wall primary, okay. Wall primary, it's some sort of the default background. It's either going to be black, our own black, or it's going to be our own white, okay. So this is the class that we are going to use, okay. And then we need to type here at apply, okay. Basically, the BG of this needs to be wall primary, wall light primary, and the dark version of it needs to be wall dark primary, okay. So meaning that now whenever we want the dark and light of the wall primary, we are going to use this class, okay. Usually I like these classes to be all capital letters, okay. I'm going to tell you why now. My apologies about this. Wall primary, okay. As you can see, this is wall primary. Since I don't want to put a dash, let's see if I can put an underscore, okay. So I'm under the assumption that if I can use this class on our layout, it's going to respond accordingly. So let's go to the layout now and check what is going on. The state of affairs here. Dark is green. I don't really want dark as green, okay. So for now, if we go back here, it's using shardcn's default, I would like to say, or if it's not shardcn's default, it must be Tailwind's default, okay. As you can see, okay, it's using shardcn's default. We don't really want that, okay. We want it not to be some sort of dark navy. We want it to be our own black. So if we can now use this color, okay, wall pry, okay. Okay, now instead of taking that default color, we are going to take our own black. Suppose if all goes well, let's go back here and check. As you can see, guys, this is not that navy color. Now it's normal light that we want and it's normal dark that we want. Obviously, it's not easy to see this effect for now because there's a lot going on here, okay. Now let's take this a step further, okay. We want also to make that class for this what, for this square, okay, for this square. So let's go back here and go back to our CSS, global CSS. Just copy. In fact, we don't need to copy this. Let's create another class which is dark wall secondary. There's no need for dark. I've made a mistake. I'm sorry about that. Okay, wall secondary. Okay, this is a wall and it's secondary. I want that, and I want at apply. Okay, so we are going to change this to BG wall light secondary, and then on dark we are going to change this to BG wall. Okay, to BG wall dark secondary. Okay, as you can see. So now we are going to copy this style, okay, and we are going to go to our application. So first, in terms of light and dark theme, we are going to delete it. My apologies about that, meaning that there won't be light and dark theme. Okay, let's go back here. As you can see now, we don't see much. Okay, we don't see much. Okay, as you can see. So now let's use this class. okay, which is wall secondary. Okay, let's go back and see what will happen. Now the effect is taking place. Okay, this is dark and this is light. Well, somebody might feel like, I don't think this is making much of a difference. It looks like it's more like the same as we are doing it last time. Okay, let me just show you that it's not the same. Okay, let's say we wanted to some sort of first of all, let me go to this div, and let me just put a padding. Okay, some sort of p12, let's say. Okay, padding, let's just see if it takes place. Okay, as you can see, there is some sort of space around here. So let's say we want to repeat these squares, 4 of them. Let's see how easy it's going to be to style them accordingly. Okay, so if we were to repeat these, okay, styling these, so according to us here, we are just going to paste these like this. Okay, paste these like this. Let's say 1, 2. We can even make 3 of them. Okay, I'm happy with this. We can even make these 3 of them. As you can see, this is 3 of them, and all of them, they conform to the light and dark. Okay, don't mind about this is that background color. Okay, it won't show. Okay, or maybe I will see what I can do. I can style the whole HTML to be what I want. Okay, so one might feel like, still, if we were using the same dark theme, we were going to copy everything and paste. Okay, so if I want to change this to maybe one of these to be exactly the same as the default background, we are just going to remove this. As you can see, we're not going to remove a lot of code, and we are just going to change this to wall primary. Okay, I think this is the name of that style. Okay, we are going to change this. Let's type here changed. This is the changed one. Okay, let's go back here. So meaning that this is the changed one. Okay, so this has changed. Check here. Okay, let's go to light. This is different. So what's the improvement here? So meaning that if we can configure this 100% and we master it, we perfect it, we will never have to deal with light and dark mode. We are just going to use those CSS classes that we have configured, and that's about it. So I hope you are starting to see the idea, or where am I going with this principle of inverted theme colors or inverted theme. Okay, so thank you so much for making it this far. I appreciate that. If you are you've made it this far, that means you are high on learning, you want to learn, and you want to become a better developer. Please don't forget, if you like this content, just leave a positive review. Thank you so much. See you on the next one.